Hi everyone, the Touchline Report is back with some more news about what's going on out of the pitch and on the pitch. We'll start talking about Euros, Copa America final, and then we'll move for off the pitch news. So
Hey guys, Touchline Report here.
we're back, and as you can see, we are very happy about it. So please stick with us for this hour and a half. Let's see how it goes, and yeah, let's go.
Yeah, guys, we're back. After a weekend of great finals, Copa America finals, Euro finals. It was great just to have 2 days of straight incredible football. So yeah, we're gonna start off with some Copa America. Talking about the finals. We made our best 11, who we thought the best 11 of the whole tournament were. We'll move on to Euros and end off with obviously some off the pitch news. So yeah, let's get going.
Yeah,
So yeah, the Copa America finals, I think it was a great game overall. Argentina just started off on that right foot. Di Maria, great goal from him. Just no nicking it over Ederson. That was 1-0, 22nd minute. And I think they just held strong. They played a good defense for the rest of the match. Uh, they held strong against Brazil. Brazil attacking very well. This game actually kind of reminded me of against when Brazil went against Belgium in the World Cup. They went down 2-0. Then they got a goal 2-1. They started getting chances, started shooting. Lots of great saves from Courtois. I think lots of great saves from Martinez. In this match, I think he was great for Argentina. Really decisive from him. Messi also got a huge chance later on in the game to make it 2-0. He just I think he slipped over the ball, something like that. Ederson was able to pick it up nicely. But overall, I think it was a great match. Congratulations to Messi finally getting that first ever trophy with Argentina. You know, if I'm being honest, I never thought it was gonna happen. I really thought he was never gonna win anything. But yeah, so great job to him. Great job to Argentina. Overall, good game. Argentina, I think we're the better team.
yeah. I'm like you. Like I think Argentina were the better team throughout the whole tournament, and finally Messi got his first international trophy for his national team. Just like in the same day that Ronaldo 5 years ago got his first trophy for Portugal too, both continental trophies from their regions. And yeah, in the end, I think Argentina was the better team, hands down to Di Maria. Amazing goal, incredible pass, and yeah, like Brazil put Argentina comfortable to make that play. You could see how much space he had to make the long pass to Di Maria, and then Lodi had a bad a bad, like, let's say, tackle, because he missed the ball and he wasn't on time. He jumped really bad, and he didn't fought well that situation and how to try to take the ball and cut the ball. And it was like a very important moment in the match. He was the only one in front of Di Maria, the only one who could get that ball and get that long pass, and in the end it made the difference. And besides that, it was like a very South America game, with very sloppy, a lot of mess, a lot of confronts between players. And yeah, when it comes to Brazil versus Argentina, it's always a very heated game. So yeah, lots of confusion too. We saw that after Otamendi did that incredible, like, so bad tackle, and he knew that it was a fall. He knew that he was going to get booked. And then all the mess came after that, after Marquinhos, because Marquinhos didn't like that tackle. And Otamendi also took that advantage to get the game a little bit messy, and basically he burned a few more minutes for Argentina and tried to destabilize Brazil with that. And in games in South America, Copa America, these things like this always happen. So yeah, in the end, it was a great game. I think we had some good chances also for Brazil. They tried their best, but I think in the end Argentina were at least more clinical. They Brazil tried to attack a lot, but Argentina with counter attacks they did some damage, and yeah, that Di Maria goal was perfectly amazing, and it was the one that got Argentina back to the trophies in Copa America, and Messi his first trophy with Argentina. So congratulations to Argentina.
Yeah, great play from them. They did really well overall. Not just this game, throughout the tournament. I think they were really great. Best team of the tournament by far. So great job to them, Brazil. They fought hard throughout the game, especially in that second half. They came back with a bang, creating chances, especially right until the end. Trying to get the fans to keep pumping them up, but it just wasn't enough in the end. So congratulations to Argentina, and a special congratulations to Messi.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, more than anyone. So now Manuel and I made our lineups for the best 11 of the whole Copa America tournament. So Manuel, do you want to start us off with your 11?
Yeah, sure, sure. We'll share it. We share our screens and let's see. So here is my 11. You know, I hope you all can see it. I'll start by the back and I'll move forward as always. I'll start by the goalkeeper. There is no surprise. It's Martinez, my goalkeeper. I mean, he was amazing throughout the whole tournament, and especially very important in the semifinals against Colombia, though with those saves in the penalty shootouts. And I mean, he was also very intelligent, trying to destabilize all Colombian players, and he managed. In the end, he managed to do it. Um, Then we move to the defense. I am going to go with Cuadrado for the right back. He never misses and like anything special. We know that he's a good player. He does it right, and yeah, it's a traditional for this position, and probably the best player in that position. Then I'm going to move for Marquinhos. Marquinhos, he was a good player throughout the whole tournament and important for Brazil. I mean, it's true in the game against Argentina, he didn't put probably his best performance, but he was a important player for Brazil during the whole tournament. And after the season that he had with Paris Saint-Germain, it was impossible for him not to go a good tournament. I mean, and
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Ikampi. He played more as a I think has a left back if I'm not mistaken, but I wanted to put him in my 11, so I moved him for to central back, and he was a good player, impressive player, and for such a small, like, let's say, national team where we probably didn't expect them to go that far, and it was true, but Ikampi was a good player and important player for them. Then in the left back, I'm going with Acuna. Acuna, always a good, important player for Argentina for the way he fights, for his fighting spirit, and he's always very constant. He never gives up, and he's a very intense player. So very important for Argentina throughout the tournament, and even in the final, we saw a lot of that. We saw Acuna very important going forward. Um, and important player in the attack and very intense and fighting for every ball like it was the last ball of his life. So incredible the way he works for the team and what he gives for the team. So we cannot have a like tournament 11 without him. It's difficult. Then we'll move to Casemiro. I mean, important player for Brazil, and is like the holding midfield of the team. and it's always an important player. And if you have Casemiro, I mean, you're good to go, and especially in Copa America, probably one of the best midfields in the world, and one like the best, probably the best defensive midfield in Copa America. Then we'll move to the other midfield. I'm going to Rodrigo de Paul. I mean, I've been a fan of this player for some time, although I don't watch that many games of him. When I watch he always surprised me. He's like so quick going to the attack, so he's so good with the ball, and a very also very intense player, So I mean, incredible. He was incredible in the final. I mean, I really liked him a lot. The way he played in the final, very important player, and hands down to him, really good player. And I cannot, I don't know why he's still where he is. He could be in a bigger club, way bigger club, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, there's a transfer. He got transferred to Atletico Madrid this season, so now
yeah,
he is on a bigger club. So that's great for him.
yeah. Thank you. I actually didn't know that, so yeah, great for him. Um, then I'll move to Messi. I mean, 5 assists, 4 goals in the whole tournament, and finally like a trophy for Argentina. I'll just live with that, and we all know what player he is, so I don't need to explain more about it. Then we'll move to Neymar. I mean, always important play for Brazil. Always very um, in the game. Like in every attack, they look for him, and sometimes he's just magical. Sometimes he just try to get falls where there aren't falls. And when he's losing, sometimes it's difficult for him to deal with the situation. Although in the past years he has been growing a lot mentally, but yeah, in the final we could still see him like trying to do more things for himself than playing for the team, and he lost the ball a lot of times. But in the end, throughout the whole tournament, he was very important, and yeah, probably it also has to do that they were playing against Argentina, which is one of the best teams in South America, and and they were in the tournament one of the best teams. And in the end, it's more difficult to play better with those teams. But Neymar is one of the like at least in the top five, So for every football fan, I mean, so I probably expect him more in the final, but throughout the whole tournament he was good for Brazil. So
Yeah,
then I'll move to Luis Diaz. I mean, what a tournament he had, securing the third place for Colombia with a late goal against Peru in the third place game, and throughout the whole tournament, 4 goals, incredible throughout the whole group stage. A very creative player, very important player in Colombian sides, and there's not much to say. You just have to go and look for his games because he did incredible for Colombia throughout the whole tournament. Then my striker, I and the final player, I put Lapadula, which is a Peruvian striker. He scored 4 goals, and he led Peru to another great campaign in Copa America. Last time they reached the final, and they lost 3-1 against Brazil. They in that edition, the only team they had lost against in the group stage was Brazil. This campaign, in this edition, they had to play against Brazil in the semifinals, and they lost again. So Brazil has been like doing a lot against Peru, and basically not eliminating them of Copa America, at least for the last two editions. But they have been playing really well, and this tournament they played really well, and Lapadula was one of the stars of Peru, and with 4 goals, he was like he equalized the same number of goals as Luis Diaz, as Messi. So good player, and I wanted to put him because in the end, Peru were kind of the underdogs in this tournament. As if you look at the other teams like that were in the semifinals, theoretically they were probably the weakest one, and Lapadula was a very important player. So this is my 11. We'll probably have a different one and some similarities too. So yeah, let's move on and check yours out.
Yeah. I have to say mine was very similar to yours. Lots of the players, the formation was somewhat similar, not the exact same, but quite similar. I had a lot of the players you had. So yeah, I think ours is gonna be very similar. So I'm just getting mine up right now. Okay, so for my 11, I believe you had the same goalkeeper, Emmanuel Martinez. Obviously, incredible for Argentina. Uh, you know, in the penalty shootout against Colombia, brilliant. Final against Brazil, brilliant. What can I say? He was just incredible throughout the tournament. Time and time again, each game, he provided for his side, for his nation, and I think he was one of the biggest players for Argentina overall. Um, Without him, I think Brazil, could have equalized and probably even have gone in front in that final. So I think great match for him. He had a great tournament overall. So yeah, one of Argentina's best players really. And I also had Acuna and Cuadrado as my fullbacks. Acuna, as you said, he's a fighter, he's a warrior, always fighting for the ball, like it's his last ball he'll ever play. Uh, he's a very tough player, very aggressive. So he loves to play with the ball, play with his opponents. So yeah, he was great on that left side. Cuadrado, as you said, he was great throughout the tournament. He had a great season with Juventus as well, one of their best players. Probably Colombia's one of Colombia's best players as well. He was a great player, great attacker, defended when it was needed. His work rate was very high throughout the whole tournament. He was a hard worker. Obviously, he had I think 1 or 2 match suspension, but I think during the games he played, he was brilliant. In that third place match, he was a big help, especially in that third place match. To secure third place. So yeah, he did a great job as well as Acuna. Marquinhos and Otamendi as my center backs. Marquinhos, he had a great game. He had a great tournament overall. Really, I feel like, as you said, he could have done more in this final, but that's what happens. That's football. You can't do anything about it. But great game for Marquinhos, great tournament for Marquinhos. He had a great season with PSG as well. So yeah, Marquinhos was probably probably one of the best defenders in this tournament. As well, Otamendi, I didn't from the beginning of the tournament, I didn't expect too much from him, but he started playing. He was very comfortable on the ball, uh, very smart in when playing. So yeah, I think he had a great tournament. He had a great game in the final, especially. I think because of that final performance, that's why he made it into my 11. I feel like if he didn't have that type of performance, if he didn't perform that way in the final, he wouldn't have made it into this 11. But he performed well, helped Argentina keep a clean sheet. So yeah, great job to him. Great job to Argentina. So that's my defense. That's my keeper. And for my midfield, I have Lucas Paqueta. He was incredible. I'm not sure how many goals he had at 1 or 2, I believe. He was great with Neymar. The connection between those two was just class. It was so brilliant. He was great for Brazil. Great midfielder, strong midfielder, a smart midfielder as well. So yeah, it was a great performance from him. In the final, he obviously could have done much more, but that's football. Semi-final, he was really great. He got the goal that sent Brazil into the finals. So I think overall he had a great tournament, and him and Neymar just linked up beautifully. And for my defending mid, I put Casemiro. He's definitely one of the best defending midfielders in the world, if not one of the best midfielders in the world as well. He had a great tournament with Brazil. He had a great season with Real Madrid. Um, what else more is there to say? He did all he could do in the finals. He pushed hard with his Brazil. He had a great tournament overall, playing really defensively. His work rate was very strong. You can tell he was very tired. Running up and down the field, defending, attacking when necessary. So I think he was a great worker, a great player for Brazil. And yeah, I think without Casemiro, I don't even think they would have made it to the finals. So yeah, he was really great. And DePaul, probably the best midfielder on this 11. As you said, he was incredible in the final. He got man of the match of the final. He's the one that created the goal for Di Maria. Obviously, Di Maria's the one that finished the dinner. DePaul's the one that cooked it. Brilliant. The ball, he had so much time and space. He had time to pick his head up, look around, look at his options. He saw Di Maria making the run. He played it before Di Maria went off sides. So great link up between those two, and it's just a great ball. The great time ball. The pace on the ball was fast enough to get to Di Maria before any defender could get there to him. So yeah, DePaul was brilliant in that final. He had a great tournament, but that final just brilliant for him. And the final three players, Messi, of course. How could he not have made it? As you said, 5 goals, 4 assists. Wow, what a tournament he's had. He finally got the trophy he's been searching for since the beginning of his career. 3 Copa America final losses, 1 World Cup loss. He even retired after 2016. It's very tough when you just continue losing, especially in a final over and over again with your nation, especially. But he came back. He came back strong, committed, determined, and he got what he needed. He got what he deserved. Messi was able to lift that Copa America trophy. So congratulations to him. Very important for player for Argentina. Very creative. He finished a lot. He created a lot. Overall, Argentina's best player. I couldn't think of another striker I could put. But I just thought Di Maria was so brilliant. But I already had Neymar on the wing, so I thought let me just put Di Maria up top. Brilliant from him. He had a decent Copa America campaign. He didn't start every match, but when he did, when he came on, when he started, he showed what he's worth. That final was a good decision by Scampoli to start him, and it paid off with that 22nd minute goal to really win the whole tournament. Brilliant job from Di Maria. Great goal, really. Good touch to keep the ball rolling with him, just to tap it over Ederson. Brilliant goal. And yeah, that won Argentina the Copa America. So great job to Di Maria. And of course Neymar on that right side. He played as left. He played as a left wing, but if Messi's on that left wing, he has to go to right wing. Sorry, Neymar. So he had a great tournament. I feel like he could have done more in that final, like you said, Manuel. But I think overall throughout the tournament, he fought hard. He played well. Uh, if it wasn't for him, Brazil wouldn't have scored. Paqueta wouldn't have scored in that semifinal. Great bit of skill to get past 3 defenders. Just pass it to Paqueta, open goal. That's 1-0, and that sent them into the finals. Obviously, as I said before, he could have done a lot more in the final. But he tried hard. Brazil fought hard. So I think he did great. Brazil did great. I think he had a great campaign. So yeah, overall, great job to Neymar. And this is my 11. I feel like me, Manuel and I's 11s are very similar. This formation was a bit different, but I think the players are very similar.
Yeah, I mean, I just changed one player in the defense, which was Ikampe, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, which I want to apologize because I think I was like confusing him with another player because he's always been playing as a central back, and yeah, for me he was a very impressive player during like Ecuador games, because probably all of us know that Ecuador was not like the strong contender for the title, and in the end, as soon as they reached the quarterfinals, they lost against Argentina 3-0. But throughout the whole group stage, and we saw how good he is, and he's just 19 years old. So incredible player. He's playing in Argentina, but yeah, maybe this Copa America opened him another another doors in Europe, for example. Then, like, we just had a different formation in the middle field, and I agree with you, Paqueta, very important player too. And yeah, you opted for putting Di Maria and not putting a pure striker. I just went for the pure striker basically. But Di Maria, incredible player too for Argentina. Has Paqueta was for very important for Brazil midfield and Di Maria for Argentina's attack. So yeah, completely agree with you. Good option too.
Yeah, so those are our 11s. I think we both agree basically with our 11s. I think we got ours very similar. So I think overall we basically kind of got it right basically the whole thing. So yeah, I think we both did quite well with our 11s.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's our opinion, so I can just say another a player that never play and put him in my 11, even if that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we do, of course, we research to do our 11, so
Yes,
and
of course.
in, it's based on what we saw, but also in our research. So should we move on to a little bit to Europe and move to the Euros final?
Of course. What a final it was as well. Great final. Uh, 90 minutes wasn't enough to separate the teams. We got the background Euro 2020. Sadly, it's all over, but what a tournament it was. 1 month of just continuous football, brilliant football, beautiful football, and unexpected football. Italy at the beginning of the tournament were seen as the dark horses, but after they got to the group stage with a clean sheet and seven, and sorry, not seven, I believe it was eight goals scored.
No, they only scored 2 goals during the whole group stage, and they finished with two with 7 points. I think that they were the first team, if I'm not mistaken, to top a group without with only 2 goals scored. So
Yeah,
they won 1-0 against Croatia, and then they draw against Scotland, and won 1-0 against Czech Republic.
yeah. So England really well from them. Uh, you know, England overall, I think they had a great tournament. They were seen as one of the favorites to win from the beginning. So yeah, obviously they started off the tournament a bit shaky. The group stage, wasn't their best performance. Their biggest one, yeah, as you said, only 2 goals scored. One against Croatia, one against Czech Republic. They draw with Scotland. That was probably one of the most surprising parts of this tournament. But then they start to wake up against Germany, especially 2-0. Great game overall. 2 late goals from Sterling and Kane that put them into the quarterfinals. They had it quite easy against Ukraine. They absolutely thrashed them 4-0. It was coming really. Everyone expected England to win, but everyone also expected Ukraine to kind of fight back. But they couldn't do anything. They kind of just sat there. In the first half they had some chances, but overall England was definitely the better team. And probably one of the biggest underdogs of the whole tournament, Denmark. They had to face next England, and then and Denmark started off the game well. Beautiful free kick. That's 1-0. Uh, Late on in the game, equalized, own goal. Really, Saka did the job really well. And then to finish it off, a Kane penalty, saved by Schmeichel, great save, but then he got the rebound. That sent him into the final. And for Italy, as I said before, seen as dark horses from the beginning, after that group stage match, they were just so incredible. They kept a clean sheet throughout the whole group stage, won every single match, perfect 9 points, overall great performance in their group stage, and they just continued their run into the round of 16. In the round of 16, Austria, they held really strong. They had a very stubborn back four, and Chiesa, that's when he really woke up for Italy. That's when Mancini saw him. That's when he saw him as a starter. He's the one that made it 1-0, Insigne 2-0. Austria tried to fight back. They even got a goal, but it wasn't enough to really challenge Italy. So that was 2-1 to Italy. Great game. And that's from that match. Chiesa became a regular starter, and Berardi found himself on the bench for the rest of the tournament. And next match against Belgium, they start off the game brilliantly, 2-0 up, and then Belgium came back they from a penalty 2-1. But overall Italy were the better team, sent themselves into the semifinal. Spain was probably their most challenging opponent. They held most of the possession. This wasn't the Italy we've seen throughout the tournament. So, but they still were able to push hard. Uh, they even got the lead at one point, and Morata came on. Who expected him to score the equalizer? Not me. But brilliant from him. Uh, so yeah, I think it was brilliant performance from Morata. But he missed the penalty. Donnarumma, penalty hero. Uh, that sent them into the final against England. And then yesterday was all determined. Who was the best team in Europe? We found out. Italy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know like correctly if if mistaken, but you are saying that Italy was for you the dark horse, right?
From the beginning of the tournament, like before the tournament started, I saw
Okay,
them,
okay.
as the dark horse.
Because the first time you said, I thought you mentioned England. I mean, So I'm missing so much the Euros, and I've been crying the whole night. So that's why I'm so messed up, guys. So sorry for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, incredible for Italy, in my opinion. One of the most interesting teams in the tournament for the way they played throughout, like since the group stage. I think they had a pretty easy group stage for them. If we like, they didn't concede, they scored a lot of goals, and they are, of course, the better team in their group, of course, and that's no surprise on that. It's just that the only thing I think people were not expecting was Italy to play so well, since they had already missed the missed the qualification for the last World Cup, in Russia, and probably they were not putting them as a contenders because of that. But in the end, they were like stronger contenders than like France, for example, or Germany or Portugal, like those teams that were in the group of that, and that everyone would say that the one of them could win the tournament, and all of them went out in the round of 16. So, but Italy, no, Italy was pretty strong since the group stage started well with a 3-0 uh, against Turkey, then 3-0 against Switzerland, and then they went to play against Wales, already qualified, and they won 1-0. So 7 goals scored, like you mentioned, and I mean, incredible, incredible. Then when we went to the to round of 16, some people raised some questions about Italy because they had a easy group, and in the round of 16 we saw like what kind of difficulties we like other teams could put to Italy. Austria took them to extra time, and they were a great side. They fought a lot against them. In the end, Italy went through, but it was probably one of the games in which we saw Italy having more difficulties playing, and it raised some questions because they had a easy group, and maybe it was because of that they were that they were looking like contenders, but in the end they proved everybody wrong, because after going to defeating Austria, they moved to the quarterfinals, and they had Belgium, and they were far superior against Belgium. And I mean, we saw basically more or less, and I mentioned this in the previous podcast, that Italy did what Portugal couldn't do against Belgium. Belgium were never like a strong contender, and Italy were far superior to them. They played really well. They won 2-1, and they went to the semifinals. And in the semifinals, that's probably, let's say, that the worst game of Italy, especially in the first half. They didn't play really well. In the second half, they woke up a bit, and they managed to score the first goal. Actually, Morata equalized like just 20 minutes after that, and because of that, they had to go to penalties. And I mean, in the penalties, they won 4-2. They were the superior sides. Just Jorginho finishing those penalty shootouts with such a class, and basically in the revenge of the last Euro final they played in 2012, in which they lost against Spain 4-0. In this one, they were much, much, much better, and they took them to penalties. Actually, Spain took Italy to penalties, or at least to extra time, and none of them could do anything in extra time. And in the penalties, they were superior. I mean, and we saw also in the face of Morata. I think he was the one that missed a penalty. We saw that he was not very confident. Almost also failed from the spot too, and Italy deserves that place in the final. As of
Yeah.
like England, you already like said a lot about them, and yeah, I agree with you. Like probably they finished their group with only two goals scored, and in the first place, like I already said, the only team to do that, I think, to top a group with two places to only two goals, and they were not as excited as Italy, at least in terms of like the way they play. You know, they were a little bit more defensive throughout the whole tournament. With Declan Rice, like as they are holding midfield, and they had Phillips just basically there to press and try to recover the ball. Also, sometimes he would join the attack, but in the end, they had like those three players there, like Kane, Sterling, and they also obviously changed the guy on the right sometimes. I think Saka started the game, for example, but yeah, in the end they try to give like, let's say, a little bit of freedom to those three and put like Kane going a little bit near the midfield to try to get the ball and give the wingers the space to enter the area. And yeah, we saw like Kane was very important in the way they played, and they had something like they had really good players. They had Grealish, Sancho. They could do a lot of other things with the squad. You know, the squad they had, and play different
Yeah,
tactics, but yeah, stick a lot with the back three, and in the end, they 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 were a squad that knew what they had to do, and they did it enough, in the end. And yeah, Southgate was not always the guy that would say that looked like he was going to change something. He stood a lot with the same players, and even if they had better players, they stood a lot with he stood a lot with his tactics. In the end, probably the best game they had was against Ukraine, but Ukraine was probably the easiest opponent they had in their route to the final. Because yeah, they were lucky against Sweden. They they were they they weren't as good as they should, for example, in UEFA Nations League, at least in defensive terms, because they were in UEFA Nations League and qualification to the World Cup. They were good defending and they positioned well, but throughout the whole tournament, I think they were a little bit lucky in some games, and against Sweden, it was one of those. And yeah, against England, they were nothing. England just trashed them, and then they had to play against Denmark, which, in my opinion, a lot of people call them underdogs, but they were like an incredible side. And in the end, like, I was at least expecting them to reach the quarterfinals because of what they have been doing in the last years. In the World Cup, they had the last their last World Cup was pretty good, and they have been building this squad for some time. With some like new players and some young players now, but as for example, Damsgaard, very important player in a game against England, scoring that brilliant free kick, and he was a very 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 creative player there, very important with the way he dribbled, and very quick player. But in my opinion, this was probably the game that tested more England throughout the whole Euro. They managed to go through with the controversial penalty that Kane didn't manage to convert at first. He like scored in like the rebound, but in my opinion, we could like like Denmark players could or should have reacted a little bit faster. They probably were thinking he was going to score. There's nothing to do. It's like so late in the game, but Schmeichel defended, and he did a brilliant game against England. He did good games before that, but he was brilliant for Denmark in that game against England. And England just did their job. Like Denmark a more attacking side, and England defending well, a little bit back near their area. Defending in their midfield, and probably Denmark a little bit more more creative, let's say, in the way they played. But yeah, with the penalty and the way they played, I mean, the goal, the equalizer was also a good team play. It ended in a own goal, but yeah, I mean Sterling was there to score. So if it wasn't a own goal, Sterling would score, and it was a brilliant play from England. Yeah, but as we can see, like it's like the 3 4 players in front, Mount more creative. For example, in that game against Denmark, a more creative player with more freedom, with Phillips and Declan Rice more like holding midfields, and Sterling with also a little more freedom, Kane going a little bit more into the midfield to give space to the wingers, as I already mentioned. And it was probably, in my opinion, and against what is for a lot of football fans, the underdogs of the tournament, one of the most. Games they had. But yeah, in the end they made it to the final. But Italy, I mean, they I'm not going to say they are superior, because England played really well in the first half. In the second half, Italy woke up for the game. They took the game to extra time, then penalties, and it was very, very, very nerve-wracking penalty shootout. But in the end, Italy done it, and I mean, congratulations to them. And they proved the point that, like to England, like you cannot play, you cannot say that he's coming home from the start, like he's coming home because it came Rome instead of home. They were just probably too cocky, and Italy taught them a lesson, like Portugal did 5 years ago with France, when they were probably not the most brilliant side, but they were a team, and they were a good group, like Italy was. And we saw that, for example, when Sirigu entered in the last game of the group stage, when the player came from the bench, even to play 5 minutes, they were there to fight for their team, and they had a good group spirit. Instead, England had just brilliant players, better than Italy, but they always thought that they were going to win from the start, and they were not humble enough for the for that, for the tournament. And Italy taught them a lesson in the first Euro final they reached. So in the end, congratulations to Italy again. To Instead of taking it home, they took it Rome. So yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, 95% of the world wanted it to go to Rome. Once the finals were set, 95% of the world wanted it to come to Rome rather than home. And it came to Rome in the end. As you said, England were a bit too cocky. And that's what happens when you're too cocky. You lack team spirit. You have a great team, but the other team, has leaders. They have team spirit together. Bunichi was even being interviewed at the end. He was saying that the song "It's Coming Home" really motivated him and the rest of the team. Trying to stop England from continue singing that song, thinking they're the best. So that really motivated them to lift that trophy. And now, from Portugal to Italy, Italy are the champions of Europe. We're gonna have to wait another 4 years to see if England can take it home.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you mentioned it regarding this like coming home motto, and yeah, it's all about like they in the end they were trying to celebrate the fact they had almost every game at home. They only played one game outside of London. The fact that football was in their country, that they had a good team, they could win, and in the end they just gave motivation to their opponents. And they they climbed to the top of the mountain, to the final, to have a high one of the highest falls for them. So
Yeah, disappointing for them, but incredible for Italy. Great game. It was overall great tournament. Great game. One of the best Euro games we might watch for a long time. Who knows? But yeah, great game.
Yeah.
dramatic throughout the whole game, throughout the whole tournament. So yeah, I can't wait for World Cup next year. I just can't wait.
Let's see how it goes for England. Let's see if this Euro was a lesson taught for them. Yeah, and let's see how Italy now performs. If they will still be with Mancini or not, and
Yeah,
let's see. Let's hope
let's
so
see.
because yeah, I was just going to say let's hope so because they are a really exciting side with Mancini.
Yeah, and they have a chance for another piece of silverware, I believe, in September for the Nations League, as they got into the semifinals last year. So yeah, look, we can see how they continue to perform then. 34 match winning streak. Let's see if they can continue.
Yeah, let's see. Just like Portugal won the Euro, then won the UEFA Nations League. Let's see if Italy can do that. I mean, I will like as a Portuguese fan open the throne for them with like very happily. I'm happy to give them the trophy and yeah, and in both competitions they deserve it.
Yeah, great team. They've been great for the past 3 years. Mancini came in, did his work. Let's see if he can continue. Overall, great performance from Italy, and congratulations. So now we have a small segment. We're gonna say it's kind of an opinion piece. So we're gonna have 6 different sections, and it's gonna be a question, and we're just gonna kind of answer it. So Manuel, first one, who was your player of the tournament? Who do you think the best player throughout the whole tournament was?
I mean, it's going to be a Italy one, and I could pick, for example, Donnarumma was a great player. I could say Chiesa because like he was so important in the knockout stages, although he didn't play a lot in the group stage, but he took the he took his place in his spot in the 11. But in the end, I'm going with Jorginho. He was just a very important piece in Italian midfield, and very important for them. And I mean, what incredible player! He already did a great season with Chelsea, and now with Italy again, incredible season too. So hands down to him. For me, the best player in Europe, Jorginho.
Yeah, I was considering Jorginho. I was considering a lot of Italian players, Jorginho, Chiesa, possibly even Verratti. But for me, it had to be Donnarumma. He was great in the group stage. 0 goals let in. You know, I think overall in the tournament, he only let 4 goals in. Um, one in each. One in each game in the knockouts. But still, he was incredible, especially when it came to the penalty shootouts. A penalty hero, he was incredible, saving the penalties. He was such a big part for Italy because he's just I have no words for him. He's just such an incredible goalkeeper at such a young age. He's on his way to become the best goalkeeper ever, really. So it's an incredible performance throughout the tournament. Such a young age. He's incredible throughout the tournament. He's the one that won the Euros for Italy. Really, he denied Saka, he denied Sancho as well. So incredible performance from him throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think now he's like 5 to 5 in terms of penalties at like a international national team level and club level. I think he saved 5 and he suffered 4, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a good statistic. I mean, and he probably now will
Yeah,
join
overall,
PSG and all of that, so he deserves it.
yeah, great player. 22 years old only. He already has a Euros in his trophy cabinet, a Euro trophy. So brilliant for him. So now our second segment is our team of the tournament. Just like Copa America, we made 2 lineups, one for me, one for you, Manuel. Our best 11. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. No problem. So this is my 11. You already know the drill. Start by the back, go forward, and yeah, let's start by the goalkeeper. No doubt, like Donnarumma, man of the tournament, only 4 goals conceded, and I mean, incredible performance in the penalty shootouts in the final. Okay, yeah, very interesting also to see that the two players that Southgate put it, and obviously for the penalty shootouts, were the ones that missed. And I was probably very surprised with Rashford because, in my opinion, he's a good penalty taker. But yeah, he was very important, saving two penalties, saving the decisive one against Saka. Of course, like a lot of pressure in on Saka's shoulders. He's only 19, but Donnarumma, if Donnarumma wasn't there, it would have been different probably. So hands down to him, incredible tournament for him, and he was like already on the spotlight, on the European spotlight, and now he's even more, you know. So congratulations to him. Then I know, like, I'll start by the right back. I put Spinazzola. I know he played for Italy, has a left back, but I couldn't leave him out of this 11. I know he got injury in the quarterfinals. Unfortunately for him, he'll be out for like 6 months or something like that. A lot of time, but he was just amazing throughout the whole Euro. I mean, he made two assists. He had two men of the matches trophies. I think yeah, again in the first game of the Euro against Turkey, and then in the round of 16 against Austria. Very important player defending, but also a very important player attacking. The way he attacked was so important for Italy, so important. So he deserves it, and yeah, it was good in the end to see him to the going to the final and receive his medal. So yeah, good for him, and congratulations to him, and I hope he recovers even better. But yeah, let's see. Now I'll move on to the center backs. Obviously, I'm going with Bonucci, man of the match in the final, scoring the equalizer. And for me personally, it was a wake up because in the past, when Juventus went to the final of the Champions League like two times in 3 or 4 years, they were probably Bonucci was probably one of the best center backs in the world. And in the last years, I think we start looking for other center backs, much younger, like promising center backs, and we completely forgot that Bonucci is still here, still in the highest level of the game, and he showed that throughout the whole tournament. And in the final, it was the perfect example of how good he is. He was so calm. He dealt very well with every situation. You know, I mean, he also dealt so well with probably two of the best strikers in the world, like attackers and striker in the world. Like, I mean, Eric Kane, Sterling, very good players, and he was incredible against them. I mean, he pocket them so well. Let's say like that. So congratulations to him, and with 34 years, and he's still there at the top of the game, and he deserves it. Probably one of the last chance he will have to play in Euro, and yeah, it's just a good way to let's say probably finish like his international career, which probably is like near to the end. So yeah, it's good for him, and I'm happy for him, and it was a perfect tournament and a perfect campaign to basically earn again the trust of a lot of people and prove to a lot of football fans that he's still here for so much more years. Then the other center back, it's Chiellini, because there is no Bonucci without Chiellini. They have been playing together for so many years now, and they have been so good. And I could go with other like center backs. We had Stones, very important, Maguire, but I didn't want to leave Chiellini out of this because in the end he's also the player that kind of gives a certain balance to Italian defense, and has Bonucci distributes more the game, at least with long passes, and he's better doing that than Kellini. Kellini is probably a more defensive, let's say, center back, if you can say that. He is not so good with the ball. We don't see him do so great passes like so good great passes like Bonucci, but in the end he's the one that probably completes Bonucci. They are just a perfect pair, and they have been playing for so many years, for so much time, that it's just amazing to see them. Then I mean, my left back is Shaw. What an incredible way to play in the final, and in the previous games he scored the first goal. I think he scored throughout the whole tournament. He assisted 3 goals, scored 1 goal. I mean, incredible, incredible. And it was uh, in the first game he didn't play in the first game of the Euro in the group stage, and it was a little bit surprising. But then he started to appear on the squad, and he was so crucial for England. Very important player. He attacked very well, and he's small, but he's like a strong player, and he kind of imposed a certain strength in the left side of England. So very important player for them. And yeah, I mean, there are other players we could talk about. Mile, I think I don't know how to pronounce it, but the Danish left back, very, very, very good performances too. But I had to go with Shaw. I mean, we can only pick 11, and yeah, I had to go with him. Then in the midfield, I already mentioned Jorginho has, for me, the best player of the tournament, so I couldn't leave him out of my 11. And I mean, I already talked about him. We already know like how important he was, so yeah, I'll move on to the other two. Um, so let's start with the number 7, Pedri. Best young player of the tournament, and the way he honed that midfield, that Spanish midfield, was amazing. I mean, after they got knocked out by Italy in the semi-finals, Luis Enrique mentioned how good he was, and that probably at that age Iniesta wasn't able to do what he was able to do, and we know what a player Iniesta became, and Pedri looks he has a very promising future. And I mean, 18 years old, and the way he played, amazing, amazing. Of I mean, it's just there are no words, and probably you wouldn't expect him to play so well and to be so important in their midfield. Then I'm going to go with Pierre Højbjerg to finish the three midfield, because the three-man midfield, because he was one of the most important players for Denmark throughout the whole tournament, as well as Delaney. They were two crucial players in their midfield. Højbjerg, of course, the more offensive one, distributing more the game, but Delaney also very good distributing the game too, but a little bit more defensive. And I mean, I couldn't put more Danish players, but Højbjerg was probably one of the best in pair with, for example, Brathwaite, who worked a lot for the team too. So hands down to him, and he was one of the key players to take Denmark to the semi-finals, and they almost made it to the finals. So congratulations to him for the tournament he did. And I mean, he's such a good player. I would love to see him I know he plays for Tottenham, a good team in England, but I would love to see him other in other club, in a bigger club probably. So yeah, maybe Bayern could look at him again, because I think he already, when he was younger, he belonged to Bayern squad. So they can look at him again. I mean, just a hint for Bayern. I mean, if they want to take a look at our podcast and see our signings suggestions. Then I'm going with Shaqiri, very important player for Switzerland, and in the end, a little bit like Denmark, they made it in the last game out of the group stage, and he was so important. I think he scored 3 goals or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, and what a what what goals he scored. He scored really good goals, and one of the most creative players of Switzerland, and like he was very important. You know, when Switzerland probably had to defend more against, for example, France, and they were. I'm not going to say they were a more defensive side, but they suffered a lot of shots, and Sommer was there for that too, very important. So they had to rely more in like one or two players in the attack, and Shaqiri was like one of those players that just did the job for Switzerland. And yeah, congratulations to him too for his incredible campaign. Then I mean, probably a lot of people will not like that, but Sterling did a good Euro. He was important for England, very creative player. I don't think he played very well in the final, and he also he also won the controversial penalty that took England to the final. He tried to do the same against Italy, but he couldn't. I mean, you can have one, but more than one. I think all people learned what they could expect of Sterling in the final. But besides that, he was a very important player for England, and one of those that was supposed to have more freedom and create more and have more space and just dribble more. And yeah, in the end was one of the individualists in one of the individual players, and in which like England relied a lot. Then I'm moving to the striker, and the last one, Patrick Schick. What a player! I already knew him. I think he has been in Roma. He's now in Leipzig, if I'm not mistaken, and he scored 5 goals. He was not the top scorer because Ronaldo had the same goals, but one assist. But he was a key player to take Czech Republic to the quarterfinals. They were eliminated by Denmark, which was also a really good side too. And what a team they were, Czech Republic, and Patrick Schick, one of the most important players. 5 goals, probably in my opinion, he scored the goal of the tournament against Scotland. What a goal! And I think that was the moment that everyone saw that Patrick Schick is something else, and he deserves more investment on him. So this is my 11. I think probably ours are similar, but yeah,
Mm.
let's see what you got.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of yours. I feel like the Kiri side, I agree with you that he was very, he was a very important player for Switzerland. But in my 11, I didn't include him because I didn't think he was as important. But yeah, I agree with you. He was very important for his side, so for Switzerland. Okay, so this is my 11. So Donnarumma goal, obviously, I put him as my uh goalkeeper because incredible throughout the tournament. As you and I said before, that he was my player of the tournament. Incredible performance in penalty shootouts. Incredible performance in that finals. Uh, so young, 22 years old. He grabbed the player of the tournament for the Euros, not just from me, but from the whole, from UEFA. Incredible. Probably the best goalkeeper in the tournament, possibly the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. But incredible performance from him. Uh, he's without him, I don't think Italy would have even reached the final. But because of him, they won it. Incredible performances. Outside, inside, penalty shootouts. That's his speciality. Incredible from him. So he had to be my goalkeeper. Yeah, I also had the same fullback, Sean Spinazzola. I put Spinazzola on that right side. Uh, you know, he may have gotten injured in the quarterfinal, but as you said, throughout the tournament, incredible. 2 man of the match awards. He's so special for Italy. I feel like Emerson came in, he couldn't do the job that Spinazzola did because Spinazzola is just special. Incredible performance from him. And Shaw on that left side. How can you not include Shaw after what a Euro campaign he had? Incredible performance with Manchester United as well. Probably, in my opinion, the best left back in the Premier League last season, and and the best left back in the Euros really. As you said, he didn't start the first group stage match, but the rest of the time when he came out as a starter, he showed what he's worth. He showed what he's capable of, and he's capable of a lot really. Um, Incredible performance from him. He even got a goal in the Euro final. Him and Bonici. What a performance in the final. Two of the most unexpected people to score in a Euro final. So yeah, incredible performance from Shaw. Best left back in the whole tournament, in my opinion, and as well as yours, because you put him in yours as well. For my center backs, it was quite similar to yours. I had Bonici like you, but instead of Chiellini, I put Maguire. As you said, they come as a package, Bonici and Chiellini. But for my lineup, the package has to be split. Bonici, incredible, especially in that final, incredible. He kept motivating Italy, he kept pushing, and he even got a goal in the final to equalize. He's a great captain alongside Chiellini. They've been playing together for so long. They understand each other. They are such experienced players. 34 years old. Uh, I don't know how many years that he's been playing for, but so many years of experience. One of the most experienced players in world football. So incredible performance from Bonici throughout the tournament, not just in the final. And Maguire, it was actually in doubt whether or not he'll be playing a lot in the Euro, saying that he got a small ankle injury at the end of the season. But he came in, he showed what he's worth. One of the best defenders in the world at the moment. Incredible performances time and time again throughout this tournament. The finals, he even in the finals he was incredible, but it just wasn't enough to help England bring it home. But incredible. So that's my back four: Shaw, Bonici, Maguire, Spinazzola. I think they were the best in my opinion. And for the midfield, as you said, Pedri, the young player of the tournament, incredible. There's no words to describe it. He's just incredible on the ball. He's so calm on the ball. It's just incredible. Pedri, he's shadowing basically Iniesta, possibly even Xavi. Great. He's playing great balls, comfortable on the ball, great dribbler. He's very intelligent as well. He knows when to release the ball, the speed of the ball when it has to be released. He's just incredible. He definitely has a great future ahead of him. Pogba, my opinion, he was France's best player, which obviously means he's the best midfielder for them. He was incredible. He had a great tournament overall. He scored a great goal. Um, he had a great opening match against Germany, registering that assist even though it was an own goal. But still, he had a great tournament overall. He was incredible against Switzerland, but overall France just weren't able to put it home. So great tournament for Pogba, but not the best for France. And your player of the tournament was Jorginho. I had to put him in my midfield. He was easily one of the best midfielders in the Euros. He was comfortable on the ball. He was comfortable on the ball, giving great passes time and time again. A penalty master. He just wasn't able to convert his penalty in the final, but in the end, it didn't matter. They won. He was an incredible midfielder, so I had to include him in my midfield. And for my front three, I believe ours is exactly the same, except you put Shaqiri, I put Chiesa on that right side. He didn't play too much in the group stages, but after his performance against Austria, which was incredible, he became a regular starter for the rest of Italy's campaign. He was incredible. He netted twice, I believe, in the group in the whole tournament. But those two goals that he netted were so crucial. He came in, he created chances. He was one of the Italy's best players, if not their best player. But I had to say Donnarumma. So he can be second best player, but incredible performance from him at such young age as well. Juventus have a gem in their hands. Uh Schick up top, incredible performance from Schick. No one expected him to do too much throughout this tournament. He brought Czech Republic to the quarterfinals, incredible. And as you said, possibly the goal of the tournament, probably most likely, in my opinion, best goal. Uh, that's a lot of people's opinion. That's one of our segments coming up. Who do we think scored the best goal, and what is the best goal? So Schick, possibly the best goal of the tournament. We're still waiting who scored the goal of the tournament, but Schick, incredible performance, 5 goals. But as you said, Ronaldo's got the golden boot with 5 goals and an assist. Schick just had 5 goals, so incredible performance from him throughout the tournament, time and time again. He was just an incredible player. And Sterling on the left side, I really didn't want to include him. He kind of made me mad against Denmark when he dived for that penalty, but I had to include him throughout. Besides that besides that dive in that final, he was incredible. He one of possibly England's best player. He was incredible right from the beginning. Um, Scoring, I believe he's the one that scored both of England's goals in the group stage, and then he got again in the round of 16 against Germany, he was just incredible, creating chances, scoring goals. Overall, he was, in my opinion, England's best player. And yeah, that's my front three. This is my team. Uh, you know, in the chat, I can say, Shalv is saying you guys ought to have Ronaldo. I was gonna include Ronaldo, but what can I say? Ronaldo's incredible, but Portugal didn't make it out of the past the round of 16. He scored 5 goals in 3 matches. Incredible, exceptional. I would include him. I'm a Ronaldo fanboy, but the thing is, he if Portugal got a little farther, I would have included him. But they ended up in the round of 16, not being able to score against Belgium. That's the reason I didn't include Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Overall, I think Sterling did great, and this is my 11.
yeah, I agree with you in the on the Ronaldo thing, and I think like other players, although he scored like 5 goals in 3 games, which was amazing. I thought like there were other players playing better, and their national teams also made it further in the competition. So yeah, and in the end, like we just changed the center backs. You put Maguire, I put the package Bonucci, Chiellini, and you put Pogba, which was probably the best player for France. But I had to include someone from Denmark. I could put so many players, but yeah, we are talking about such a high level of playing that in the end you have to make choice. And I went for um, I went for Pierre Jarbjerg, but yeah, Schalf is also mentioning here putting Kofal as a right back. I also thought about it, but I had to go with Spinazzola. I mean, Kofal, really good player. He was very important for Czech Republic, but Spinazzola just won my heart during this tournament, so I had to go with it. And yeah, in the end, I agree with you with Chiesa. I just wanted to put other player that had played since the group stage. But yeah, Chiesa, it's completely fine because what a key player since the round of 16 for Italy. I mean, incredible. So yeah, and what he didn't score in the final, but he played very well in the final. I liked a lot the way he dribbled. He was so creative, so quick, and yeah. So in the end, they are similar, but yeah, I agree with you with the ones that you put different for me, for sure.
Yeah, so overall, I think our lineups were very similar, and I would really like to see if UEFA could get these players together, and just play them. I don't know. It obviously it's never gonna happen, but what a team this would be. What a team both of our 11s would be. They'd just be probably one of the best probably the best in the world. Incredible. All these players from my 11 to your 11, incredible performances throughout this tournament. Especially the underdogs. That's probably the best part. When you see the underdogs play, when they really put on a great performance, you love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can go to FIFA or Football Manager and you do that squads and you're free. You can try and see how much chemistry they have with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to the next category. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, it's the underdog of the tournament, who we thought the biggest underdog player, no, sorry, not player, the biggest underdog side was throughout the whole tournament. So you can go first.
So a lot of people would say Denmark. I'm not going with Denmark, although I think they made it pretty good to go to the semi-finals. But since the start of the tournament, before the start of the tournament, I was already expecting Denmark to put good performances and to have a good team. They have been building like this squad with okay some changes, but for some years they had a good World Cup, so I was expecting them to like go out of the group stage. Although in not in this style, only in the last game, but I was expecting them to going out of the group stage and at least like going to the quarterfinals. I think so. My underdog of the tournament is Czech Republic because I wasn't expecting them to play so well. I really like the way they played. It's okay. It's a little bit different, for example, than Denmark. Denmark, it's a little bit more like let's say like creative in a way they attack. With Czech Republic more with crosses, a more simple way, but They were just incredible, and I wasn't expecting them to go to the quarterfinals of the Euros, not at all. And they almost made it to the semifinals. So I'm going with Czech Republic.
For me, originally I had Denmark, but when I think about it, when I hear you, I want to say Switzerland because incredible performance against France. Just it was a special performance, going 3-1 down, scoring two late goals to send the match into extra time, pushing it to penalties. Brilliant performance in penalties. They got out against Spain, but once again they put on a great fight. Shaqiri making it 1-0 in normal time. And extra they even pushed Spain to extra time, even up to penalties. Disappointing performance from Switzerland in the penalties, but in the end, incredible performance from Switzerland in the knockout stages. I didn't expect them to go against France. I don't think anyone did. But they went against all the odds, beat the world champions, then went against Spain, nearly beat those Spaniards, but then in the end, Spain were just the better team, booked their place in the semifinals. But congratulations to Switzerland. They were great throughout the tournament, in my opinion.
Like I won't disagree with you with that Switzerland good side too. I just picked Czech Republic, yeah, because I think they were better in terms of playing style, you know. But the performance that Switzerland put against France, nobody expect them to be able to come back from a two goals at disadvantage, you know. And we had Seferovic scoring with his head, which never happens. I know he's tall, but yeah, I mean, I'm used to see his games at a club level, and he never scores like that, and he needs a lot of chances to normally to score, even with like normally. So scoring two goals against France, no, probably nobody expect him to score. But I mean, he was a key player in that game. Shaqiri too, and Switzerland in the end went to the quarterfinals, and I think nobody expected that to happen. At least going surpassing France, you know. So yeah, congratulations for their campaign in the Euro. Amazing.
Yeah. So next up we have the most surprising player of the tournament. So for me, it's kind of obvious. I had to say Patrick Schick from right from the beginning. 5 goals throughout the tournament. Who expected him to be this incredible? A wonder goal in the first match against Scotland. So in my opinion, he had to be the most surprising player of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you because he was probably a player that people didn't expect to perform so good, you know, and especially uh, playing in Czech Republic when there aren't like a very supposedly theoretically a very strong side. They don't expect as their strikers to score like 5 goals. So I totally agree with you. And there are other players that surprised me because I wasn't expecting them to play like so well, but theoretically they were already good players, and Paticic is already a good player, but I wasn't expecting him to like shine in the Euros, you know. So yeah, I had there are also other interesting players in Czech Republic side like Kufal, like Shelf mentioned, but I mean I have to go with Patrick Schick too.
Yeah, incredible performer. Time and time again throughout all the matches. Just absolute class.
Yeah.
So next up we have the worst team of the tournament for me. I'll let you go first, Manuel. Who do you think the worst team in the whole tournament was?
I had several options for that actually. I was thinking of going with Ukraine because I was expecting them to play better, and especially like I mentioned defensively in the past they were way way better before the Euros, and then they came to the Euros, and yeah, they made it to the quarterfinals, but very like very with a lot of luck. So I kind of scrapped that option and decided to go with Turkey, even though I wasn't expecting them to like go easily to the round of 16. I was expecting them to play much better than they played. Much better. They now have a good, like, let's say, generation of players, at least throughout each section, its position of the squad. Like good defenders. They also have some good midfields, good wingers, and I was expecting them to perform much better. I mean, they didn't score any point throughout the whole game, and they suffered a lot of goals. Which, like, I mean, against they start by losing 3-0, then they lost again 3-0, then they lost 2-0 against Wales, and then they lost against Turkey. Against Switzerland, I meant 3-1. They only score one goals, and how many goals they suffered. No, like it was just too many. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with you.
they disappointed me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also said Turkey. I'm also very disappointed from before the tournament started. I didn't think they were gonna get first place or second place. I thought they were gonna at least grab third place. Reach possibly the quarterfinals, but it was just such a disappointing performance. Scoring only one goal, conceding 8 goals. It's just embarrassing, really. Within 3 matches only. Disappointing performance throughout the whole team. I thought Burak Yilmaz was gonna come up and provide even more. He couldn't. Chalanulu, him as well. I feel like Demiriel could have done better, and they had great defenders, as you said. I feel like their defenders just they didn't do as well as we all thought. So overall, Turkey worst team for both of us.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And for me, the critical point is that they'll probably aside for a third place, and probably going as one of the best third places to the next round. But they never look like a contender, not even for the third place. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah, honestly, disgusting performance.
yeah, really bad performances.
Yeah. So finally, the last thing we'll be talking about who our favorite goal of the tournament. It doesn't have to be the best, just our favorite. You can go first.
For me, I mean, it has to be Patrick Schick. It was just an amazing goal that surprised everybody, and in the end, he deserved he deserved it, and he was so good throughout the whole tournament. I mean, he deserves to. For me, in my opinion, he deserves to win because of that goal. I mean, and yeah, then the rest of the tournament was incredible. So I'm going to Patrick Schick, the goal he scored against Scotland.
I also think he deserves to win best goal of the tournament against that goal of Scotland, but that wasn't my favorite goal. If I have to think of my favorite goal, it's probably going to be the Switzerland's third goal against France. From the back, hit it up all the way to the forward, good touch to bring it down, pass Kimpembe, put it to the ground, and just convert it into that bottom left corner. It was just I was screaming like crazy when they scored that last minute goal. It was just incredible, as well as that Switzerland fan. He was legendary in that game. His reactions were just incredible. But that has to be my favorite goal against France. Brilliantly brought down, a brilliant strike into the bottom left corner. That has to be my favorite. But I do think Patrick Schick's goal deserves to win best goal of the tournament and is the best goal of the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, very interesting. You mentioned this Switzerland fan because since that game, he's now became basically a football meme for everything. So I mean, incredible. He also took some pictures. There is a picture of him holding like a cardboard with like his reaction before like suffering a goal, and then like then after the goal. I mean, it's so interesting to see that. So
Brilliant reaction.
yeah, we can see that he loves football or he loves Switzerland. So yeah,
Reaction of the tournament. That was the
yeah,
reaction of the tournament.
that was celebration of the tournament for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
So yeah, we've covered everything. We're gonna end off with some off the pitch news.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go for it. I'll start with the first news, which is about the games of the Asian nations to the qualification to the next World Cup. So basically, the Asian Football Confederation has made a deal with Sport Total, which became their new media partner in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and they will basically broadcast the final round of the uh, AFC Asian qualifiers to the Qatar World Cup. So yeah, it's interesting to see that Asian like football and at least Asian international football, national teams football is going to be broadcasted Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. They are countries that have some good fans and fans interested in football. So yeah, it's interesting to see how this is going to play for Asian nations, and how much cover they will get in Europe, and maybe to it's going to be important for them to uh, basically expand a little bit Asian football to Europe, because probably I feel like in Europe we don't get that much about Asian football, and probably with this we'll get more. They will broadcast, I think, like if the remaining games of the two groups. The first group is Iran, um, Korea, South Korea, UAE, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon. Then you have the other group with Japan, Australia, Saudi Arabia, China, Oman, and Vietnam. So those are the nations. And if you are in Germany, Austria, or Switzerland, you will be able to watch that. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
The next the next news it's about also Asian football, but not at the national teams level. I'm The news is about the next news that we are going to bring you. It's about the Women's Empowerment League, which is the next women's football league of Japan. Looks like the design is going to stream all the games of the league. So it's about 110 matches across 22 features, because it's a league with 22 features rounds, because it's a league of 11 teams. The league is about to start in September this year, and Dazan has signed a deal with the league for 8 seasons. So for the next 8 seasons, they will at least stream that. It's also said that they will select some matches to uh, having on their YouTube channel and on their other social channels for free. So it's going to be good to attract some attention to the league that is just about to start. There hasn't been, like, I think, from my understanding, any league like this for women's football in Japan. And they have actually good players. They have some players in Lyon, for example, that won I think 6 Champions League, I think, back to back, if I'm not mistaken. So they have good players at a national level in, like, international competitions. They have some good players in their national teams, and they made it far in some competitions in Asia. So yeah, it will give more attention to women's football in Japan, which I think it has some potential, and let's see how it goes.
yeah, it's very interesting to see that now women's football around the world's coming, higher up instead of. So yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, the last news, and sorry to just make them quick, but I know it has been a long podcast. We talk a lot about of what's going on the pitch, and so off the pitch we brought as usual 3 news, but I'm mainly focusing on the main points of the news, so that we don't like extend this podcast too much, as it's already been too much time. So the last news is about a long-term partnership which was announced between Common Goal and Adidas. Common Goal is basically ONG that tries to contribute to communities in need with football. So the basically the deal is based on Adidas giving 1% of their global net sales from footballs to Common Goal until 2023. So it's a and then they will contribute to communities and invest with this money in initiatives to help communities through football. So yeah, Common Goal is something that has like 4 years. It was launching in 2017 when a single player, which we know that has already like publicly admitted and showed a lot of times that he cares a lot about helping other people and using football to help, and that player is Juan Mata. He committed to give 1% of his salary to a collective fund that would invest in high impact communities organizations, that use football to empower young people. So since then, they have like the collective of individual like players and managers. I think it's almost 2,000 players and managers, includes players like Gnabry, Dybala, Werner. So Jurgen Klopp, for example, in terms of managers. So they have generated until now, I think, about 3 million by this movement, and they have invested in football-based charities that are support the United Nations goals. So they have been investing. I think with this partnership with Adidas, they will, for example, invest in let's say like four different goals, like and they are global goal 5, which is accelerator, which it's basically creating a world where every girl has the opportunity to develop her potential. So they look into that with Common Goal and Adidas. They will also look at an anti-racist project to end racism in football, on the field, on the sidelines, in front of the office, across all communities. Also, the goal to called Play Proud, which is basically making grassroots football organizations and programs and communities around the world to be inclusive to LGBTQ communities. And the last goal they have with this partnership is also a global goal 20, 16 impact, which is basically empower young people to shape their communities and play a key role in creating peaceful and inclusive societies. So a lot of investments since the in the younger generations, because they will be the future, and you can only change the world if we educate the youngers, because they are the ones that are in the learning phase, and if we taught them well, in the end they will be better better people in the future. So like hands down to Adidas for this partnership, and especially to Common Goal and to all these players that have been contributing to this so good organization.
Yeah, that's incredible for Adidas to, start thinking about the future. Investing a lot in all of these things that obviously shapes the future of football. Not only football, really just communities around the world, our society today. So yeah, that's really incredible of what they've done so far and what they plan to do.
Yeah, like just incredible. Yeah, and it's good to see Adidas on this kind of initiatives, and maybe they will be very helpful to Common Goal too, for sure.
Yeah. So that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us for this hour and a half. We love talking about this stuff together. To you guys, it's fun talking about Copa America, Euro. We're not going to talk about any more Copa America for the next 3 years. No more Euro for the next 4 years. So you can join us next 4 years if you want to hear more about Euros. But don't worry, we'll be here next weekend to talk about more football.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I subscribe everything like you said. We'll be here. There are no more international competitions, but we'll be here next weekend to have a chat with you. You have to wait to see what we are going to talk about. And yeah, I mean, season the seasons are like almost there, almost starting. Now all the players that have been in this national teams competitions will have time to rest. But here in the Touchline Report, we don't rest, and we'll try to bring news off the pitch and news of what's going on the pitch to you every single weekend. So thanks you guys for watching. Make sure to check out the other podcast that we have in the Footy Report YouTube. Subscribe our channel and make sure to also go to the Footy Report website where we share incredible news for what happens around the world and around the football world. So make sure to go there and also share our podcast with your family, friends, and also the other podcasts we have here, the website too. Make sure to share them as much as you can. And yeah, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next weekend.
Yep. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you guys next weekend.
Yeah, peace, guys.